From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
We followed the case of the 19-year-old who was found dead near Livingston earlier this month, the latest at 6:31.
I'm Jonathan Amberian at the state capitol. The pace of bill hearings is picking up here at the legislature as we approach the transmittal deadline later this week. I'll have a look at a series of recent bills that would put additional restrictions on abortion in Montana.
6:30 on this final day of February. Chet Lehman, Jane McDonald, Matt Elwell with you here. Transmittal day, as Jonathan was talking about, in the Montana legislature. It's a 90-day session, 45 days in. House bills and Senate bills have to be, and they have to have been voted on before they can be moved to the opposite house to get full approval. And so that's what he's talking about there on transmittal day.
Yeah. It's here.
Fun stuff.
There you go.
Here.
It's
There's
getting
a little piece
they're
of
starting
knowledge that I don't know if anybody needed, but I'm going to share it with you anyway.
Yeah, that's where we start
Appreciate
cooking at
Yes.
this point.
Where it
moving
starts
forward.
cooking. Well said.
Temperatures this morning, chilly, bundle up on the way outside. I think the wind is probably going to be the toughest part because it's going to put a little bite to that morning air. 13 degrees in Butte, 16 degrees in West Yellowstone. Spotty snow showers are possible, especially in the mountains, but even the valleys and plains may start to see some snow showers across Montana throughout the day today. Temperatures a little on the cool side for the afternoon, especially when you factor in 10 to 20, maybe 30-mile-an-hour wind speeds for the mid part of the day. Basically dealing with cool temperatures for the next 7 days. A couple of snow chances and a look at the Aurora Borealis. That's all coming up in just a little bit.
All right, coming up on 6:32 now, we continue to search for answers in the case of 19-year-old Jalen Williams, who was found dead here in Livingston earlier this month.
Yeah, it's a case that has been talked about all over social media. After several attempts to speak with the Livingston police chief, we were able to get hold of the Livingston city manager, who provided an updated timeline of the events leading up to Jalen's death. DN's Edgar Cedillo has our follow-up.
According to a press release that was released on Monday afternoon, witnesses tell police that Jalen had not slept in the 48 hours leading up to his death. Witnesses say that Jalen had insomnia and was showing signs of abnormal behavior. According to statements from people, they believe that Jalen left his home near Lockhaven Drive between 3:30 and 4:30 a.m. the morning of February 10th. Then, around 5 a.m., 911 calls came in from people living in the area of South M Street. Witnesses who called in said they heard screaming that sounded like a psychiatric episode rather than someone being harmed. At 5:30 a.m., a truck driver witnessed a naked male running along the side of Highway 89 near the Veterans Bridge, where he was seen running on the shoulder. The driver did report a naked man to a fellow truck driver who did not see anything. The truck driver later called 911 when he saw a news article about Jalen's death. Police say that the death was due to hypothermia and was not the result of any criminal act. When we last spoke with Jalen's family, they say that they're trying to bring more awareness to Jalen's death. I'm hoping to get in touch with the family later on this week. In Livingston, Edgar Cedillo, MTN News.
Thank you, Edgar. Now switching gears a little bit to state government. With a key legislative deadline approaching at the end of the week, Montana lawmakers have been holding marathon hearings to get through a huge number of bills.
MTN senior political reporter Jonathan Amberian looks at some proposals up for consideration that would add restrictions on abortion.
Montana's House Judiciary Committee heard testimony on more than a dozen bills Monday, including regulations on abortion in the state. House 21, sponsored by Republican House Speaker Matt Regier, would prohibit what it calls dismemberment abortions, except in case of a medical emergency prior to fetal viability. Supporters said it was not a block on abortion, only on one procedure, which they described as barbaric.
This does not stop a woman from obtaining an abortion. As I just stated, there are multiple ways still available. Please don't be distracted by any of the opposition's what if or people's unadjudicated opinions as the one stated here in the legal note.
Opponents said the bill used inflammatory language, and the procedure it sought to prohibit was the safest, most common abortion procedure for pregnancies in the second trimester.
This bill would allow politicians to stand in the way of a person's decision and a doctor's recommendation. A person's health, not politics, should guide important medical decisions during pregnancy.
House Bill 625 from Republican Representative Carrie Seekins Crow of Billings would require healthcare providers to perform life-saving care on infants born alive, including after an abortion.
A civilized society should never deny life-saving, medically necessary care to any child born alive, including one who survives an attempted abortion.
Last session, the legislature submitted a similar bill to voters as a ballot measure, but it was rejected in November's election. HB 625 includes some changes to address concerns raised by opponents last year, like an exemption that wouldn't require care for an infant that couldn't survive long-term if a family didn't want it. Opponents said state law and medical ethics already say that healthcare providers will provide care to infants born alive.
It's already against the law to do that. What this bill is trying to do is stigmatize folks who are trying to have reproductive health care.
Supporters said HB 625 differed from existing law because it would apply to non-viable infants. Last week, Republicans on the committee voted to advance 2 other abortion-related bills. House Bill 575 would prohibit liability defined as no later than 24 weeks into pregnancy, except when necessary to protect the mother's life. House Bill 544 would codify a recent rule from the Department of Public Health and Human Services, requiring prior authorization before Medicaid pays for abortion services. Democrats have also introduced several of their own bills dealing with abortion, including one that would have codified a Montana Supreme Court decision guaranteeing the right to an abortion. 3 of those bills have been voted down in House Judiciary. In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Now, it's a $1 billion a year industry supporting roughly 500 jobs right here in Montana, and it's only growing.
Yeah, we're learning about an unexpected boom in the gaming industry and how new record numbers seen nationally also prevalent here in Montana.
Yeah, MTN's Andrea Lutz spoke to a Billings casino owner who says the record numbers, well, that also comes with some not so winning side effects.
Well, commercial gaming is flying high across the country, pulling in record numbers, some $60 billion in revenue for the 2nd consecutive year. And while that might be the case here in Montana, some local casinos say there's another worry that comes along with that.
Far less things have bounced back as big after the pandemic than dreams of hitting it big.
You know, basically we lose more than we ever win. But it's exciting when you do win.
And don't just take it from Bill Albertson, who can be found here at Warden's Casino in Billings.
We probably only average a couple of days a week, but...
Recently, the American Gaming Association released some booming numbers. Gaming revenue hit an all-time record of $60 billion in 2022. It's a 28% gain over the previous year, throwing some $55 million of economic impact directly into the state of Montana.
So we're optimistic, however, we're still cautious.
The numbers are eye-opening, but for Warden's owner, Josh Benson, not too surprising. Something he says can also be attributed to a few different things.
The best part about casinos are, of course, the people.
Bill says it's why he keeps coming back.
The folks here are very nice.
And the research backs it up. Simply put, Americans are choosing casino gaming for entertainment.
We really are in the people business, and the relationships that we're able to cultivate here really make or break, our success.
But Benson says that doesn't mean casinos are striking it rich. Throw a pandemic in the mix.
COVID created a kind of a feast or famine. You either did really well or you didn't do well at all.
And then inflation, where although revenue went up, so did the cost of doing business.
Everything from toilet paper to supplies to beer, especially canned beer. You couldn't find canned beer. The cost of everything went up too.
But a surge in gamblers certainly helped. Montanans continue looking for entertainment and hoping for a bit of luck.
It's not that you're ever going to win, but there's always that one chance in a million.
At a time when many could certainly use it. In Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News.
6:39 now. War can form some strange situations, and that includes the war in Ukraine.
Scripps News' Jason Bellini introduces us to a Ukrainian soldier known as Ukraine's Joan of Arc, who is fighting for her country and the love of her life.
The sound of a Russian drone on the front lines, hovering near Yevgenia Emerald. It's trying to find us, she says. If it sees her, she knows what sound could come next. The whiz, then bang of incoming artillery. Spot the target, dial it in, and fire. It's a tactic she knows well because Emerald is a sniper.
Did you have a nickname?
Yes.
What?
Ukrainian Jeanne d'Arc.
Ukrainian Joan of Arc. That title and her bright eyes and flaming red hair the Army emblazoned on a patch they made for her. While serving on the front lines, she would meet the love of her life, and in a forest surrounded by soldiers, have the closest thing a war zone has to a fairy tale wedding. The couple was also already on the way to becoming a family. Emerald was pregnant and would soon leave the battlefield, returning home to Kyiv. That's where we caught up with her, now about to give birth in March. Emerald has become a well-known name here in Ukraine. Her new Frontline is a nonprofit devoted to women in combat. They send everything to the front, all the necessary things, she says, because many women have been serving right from the beginning of the full-scale invasion. Not everyone has the opportunity to come to Kyiv to take what they need. At their warehouse in Kyiv, Emerald shows us uniforms made to keep women warm in the winter. She says she personally raised the money for them to purchase more than 100 of them. Until her maternity leave, she continued her military service in Kyiv, wearing one of these. War is life is a favorite saying of hers, explaining that in a war she found love and family. And nothing says war is life like maternity wear camo.